we're going to be looking at socket.io, and we're going to be creating a real-time chat app. I know, super original, but let's look in here. So we got two files open here, two folders rather, one server, one web. The web is just a create React app. It's blank right now, so that's all we have there. And the server, what do we have? Our package.json. We want to go and do npm init. And then you want to go and install Express, NodeMon, and socket.io. So those are kind of what we're looking at there. So once you go ahead and do that, and then come back to here, and we just have a blank index.js inside that server folder. So this is where we're going to do all our backend stuff. So let's get started here. All right, so we're just going to go const app. And that is going to be equal to require, and that is going to be express here. And then we're going to call that right away, and that'll instantiate it right away. So that'll get it running first thing, and then we're going to go const http, and that is equal to require, and that's going to be http rather. And then we're going to go dot create server. And we're going to pass in the app. So that'll get us going. And then const io, and this is going to be our socket.io. So we'll go equal require. And that's going to be socket.io. And then we're going to call that right away with our HTTP. Okay. So that'll kind of get us started. And then we're not going to have too much in here. We're just going to have a couple functions here. So the first thing we're going to do is go io.on, and that's on connection. And then we're going to go socket, do a little arrow function there, open up some brackets, and we'll go socket.on. And we're going to call this, you can call this whatever you want. We're going to call it message. So when a message is sent, and we're going to have two things for that. So we're going to have a name for that and a message as well. So the name of the person sending the message, and then the message itself. Okay, so that's good. Another arrow function here. Open up some curlies and go io.emit message. And then again, name and message. Okay, so that's it for that. And we can come down below here, and we want to get our server up and running, so we can go http.listen, and we want to listen on port 4000, and we're going to put a function here and open up some curlies again, and we're going to go console.log listening on port 4000. Okay, so hopefully that is good. What else? Oh, just in our server, we have our package.json. We have NodeMon running this script here. So npm start will run our NodeMon. Okay, so that's that. So let's come into here, and we're in our server folder, so cd into that, and we're gonna run npm start, and we're listening on port 4000. So that's great. That looks like it's working fine. So that is everything that we need to do for our backend. That's the entire backend here. So we can even get rid of this and come in to our web. And we have a create React app, nothing in it yet. And we're going to do most of our stuff in our app.js. There is an app.css here, and I've done a little styling, so I'm just going to add that. You can copy that over. That'll be in the description, the GitHub. So if you feel like doing that, go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to copy and paste that in. It's just a few styles, so it doesn't look too bad. And one other thing I want to do is just add, I'm just going to add material UI. So I'm going to open up a new tab here. I'm going to cd into web, and then I'm going to go npm install and I think it's at material-ui/core. And I'm probably don't even need to download this, but I just want to make it look a little better for our inputs. So we'll let that download. Okay, so that looks like that was good. So let's just make sure it works. So let's go npm start and just make sure our React front end's working. All right, so I changed some of the styles, so it looks a little funky, but I think that's working fine. Again, this is what we're just using for the text inputs, probably unnecessary, but we're doing it anyways. So that is good, that's working. Let's come back over here and let's get to building out the UI for this and making it happen. Oh, I think there's actually one more thing we need, and that's the client for socket.io. So let's cd into the web, open up a new tab, cd into the web. We're gonna go npm install, and what is it called here? I got it over here. It's called socket.io client. So we'll go socket.io-client, and we'll let that download too. That'll connect our back and our front ends. Okay, so with that, I think we have all our setup for our front end done. So that is basically, I think, all we need. We can get rid of that. We can just hide that for now, and we want to open up our app.js, and we can hide this, give ourselves a little more room. All right, so this is where we're going to do all our work. So we'll get rid of that, and then we'll come up and we want to bring in use state and use effect as well. Okay, and then what else do we need? We need to import IO, and this is going to be our client side, so that's going to be from socket.io client. Great. And then the last thing we want to import here is we're going to import text field, and that's going to be from at material UI core / text field. There it is. Okay, good. So that is everything imported, and we can just come in here, and we want to get rid of everything here, I think. Yeah, we don't need anything here. And we can change, we'll get rid of that after. So let's come in above here, above our function, and we're gonna go const socket, and that's gonna be equal to io.connect, and we're gonna just paste in our, this is our backend. This is what we need to be listening on. So that'll be our connection to the back end there. So then we want to come in above here, and we're going to bring in a couple things. So we're going to use state. So const, and we're just going to call it state and set state. And that'll be equal to use state. And we want to pass in an object here. So we're going to have a message, and that's going to be an empty string to start with, and a name, and that's also going to be an empty string. Cool. And then we're going to have one more state, set a state here. So we're going to go chat and set chat, and that's going to keep our object, our chat object. So we're going to have multiple pieces of or multiple messages and names within that. And then that will be use state. And that's just going to be an empty array. So we'll have an array of objects with message and name in there. Okay, so before we go ahead and do all our functions, let's come down here, and we'll just kind of scaffold out what we're going to look, what our app's going to look like a little bit. So I'm just going to change that to card because I have some styling for that there. And then I am going to do a form, and that is going to have an on submit. Okay, and that's going to be equal to a function we're going to create called on, what's it called? On message submit. Okay, then we'll drop down here, and within the form, we're just going to have an h1, and that'll say messenger, and that's good. Below that, we're gonna do a div with a class name of name dash field. And then inside that, we're gonna have a text field. So that's what we brought in from Material UI. And that actually can be self-closing, so we don't need the second one. So we'll self-close that, and then it's gonna have a name equal to name. And then what else does it have? It has an onChange, and that's gonna be equal to arrow function on text change. And again, we're gonna create this on text change in a minute. And we'll pass in the event and close that off there. And then what else we got here? We have a value equal to state dot name. So that'll be our name state. And then we'll just give it a label here, and that is equal to name. And that's a Material UI thing. So go ahead and save that. That'll reformat for us. And we can go ahead and let's just copy that down one more time. And then in this one, the name is going to be, actually, we don't have, do we have that? This one doesn't have a name field. This can just be a regular div. Cool. And then name is going to be message. On change is going to be the same. Value is going to be state.message. And this label is going to be message. Okay, and what else are we missing? I'm just gonna paste in here some styling. So an ID outlined, that'll just give us an outline styling for this. And then also this variant here. And that's just Material UI stuff again, not functional stuff, just some Material UI. Okay, so come down below here, and we're just gonna have a button. And that button is going to say send message. Okay, and that is our form. And then below this, so we want to go below the form, we're going to have a .render -chat div. And inside that, we are going to have an h1, and that's going to say chat log. And this is going to be all our messages, and the names are all stored in log. And then we're also going to want to create a render chat function here. That's gonna, nope, that's not it. Render chat, that's gonna return some JSX and stuff. So why don't we go up and we're gonna create that right now. So we'll scroll up a bit and we'll just create this render chat div here. So we're gonna go const render chat, and that is going to be equal to an arrow function here, and then we're going to return, and we're going to map over our chat object. So we're going to have chat.map, and inside that we're going to destructure and go name and message. Okay, and then we're going to also give it an index so we can put a key for that, because you have to put a unique key for each one. So then inside here, we're going to do some JSX. So the first thing is a div, and we're going to give that a key equal to the index. Cool. And then drop down in here, and we'll do, say, an h3, and we'll go name. And then we'll do a span inside here. And inside that, we'll put our message. Okay, and if we save that, that should format. Okay, so this is our render chat. We're just gonna return this JSX, and we'll return that here. And that's why we gotta call it as well. So make sure you do that. Okay, now we gotta go ahead and write some of these functions. So the first function I think we'll want to do is on our text change. So you'll see when we type in, we need to change the text. So these are the same. So how we do that is like this. Let's come down. Actually, let's go above here. give ourselves a little bit of room, and we'll go const on text change, and that'll be equal to the event. And we want to go set state, and we want to spread out our state, the current state, and then we want to set that to e.target.name. So whatever the name is, we're going to go e.target.value. So if you look here, we have a name field here. So that's how it's matching those up, and that will set our text equal to that. And then the other thing we want to do is on our form, we have an on message submit. So we need to create that. So come down below here and we'll go const on message submit, and that's equal to e, and what else we got? So we probably don't need the event in the text. That's all right. And then we'll go e dot prevents default and call that. And that will, when you submit a page, normally it'll do a refresh. So this will prevent that from happening. Otherwise it'll wipe our state clear. Okay, cool. So come in here, go const, and we're gonna go name, and we're gonna go message, and we're gonna get that, destructure that off of state. So that's how you destructure it off there. Then we want to do some socket.io stuff here. So we'll go socket.emit. And this is what we're gonna do is message, because that's what we called it over there. And then we're gonna pass in the name as well as the message. Okay, and then after that, we wanna set our state, and we want to set our message back to an empty string, but we're gonna leave our name, and that's equal to name like that. But we're just gonna leave it like this, because that's ES6. Okay, so that is looking pretty good. The last thing I think we need to do is make use of, actually let's come up here, our use effect. So we're gonna go use effect, and that is going to be arrow function, and we're gonna go socket dot on, again, message, because that's what we called it in our backend. And then we're gonna go name message, and then another arrow function here, and we're gonna go set our chat and set that to and this is where we want to do an array. So we're going to spread in our current chat, and then we're going to pass in the new values, so name and message. Okay, let's save that, and hopefully this just works. That was a lot of typing without checking anything, so good chance something went wrong, but it doesn't look like we have an error yet. So let's go over here and check it out. So this is what it looks like. We have our name, we say Darwin, and the message, test message. We press send, and there we go. Spelt my own channel name wrong, Darwin. And as you can see, this stays populated, and we clear out our message. So we can say another one, and then you can hit enter, and that works as well. So you can either press the button or hit enter. Now, what we want to do is be able to see, if we go to a new incognito window and go to localhost 3000. So let's refresh this and see if this works out like this. That's not the best styling for a smaller, but let's see. Okay, so we'll go name on this one is Darwin, can't spell, test message, and press that, and as we can see, it shows up instantly. So the socket.io basically opens up a path between these two in real time. And we'll go test, and this is a test. And as you can see, we're getting the name and the message on both. So that is kind of a basic introduction to kind of real time with socket.io. Hopefully it kind of gives you an intro to it. Obviously a lot more you could do. Yeah, and hopefully it's helpful. So if you like the video, go ahead and subscribe, maybe give it a like, and until the next time, thanks for watching.